I think you've had ample time to finish that one up. Hopefully this one worked out a little bit better than the last one for you because it was supposed to. So here we go. X equals. Well, that says the opposite of b up here. Well, if b is -9, what's the opposite of that? Yeah, +9. Very good. Plus or minus the square root of -9 squared. That's, in this case, is a very good place for you to make a mistake if you are a little bit too calculator dependent. Okay. And then -4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is -5. All divided by 2 times a, which is 2. Any questions on the substitution I used? Nope. All right. So then x equals 9 plus or minus. That's a really bad plus or minus, but that's all right. -9 squared is positive or negative? Positive 81. Very good, because a negative squared has got to be positive. Now, here's my way of doing it, remember. I take that negative and put it down there, and then I just figure out what that number is, because that negative's already down there. So I take 4 times 2, which is obviously 8, times a -5, which is -40. Subtracting a negative means to add. If you do it the other way, which means you take it all, you're taking a -4 times a +2 times a -5 is still a +40. It still works. All over 4. Any questions on why it's +40? Okay, unfortunately, -40 works a lot worse. +40 works quite nicely, because now x equals 9 plus or minus the square root of 121, all divided by 4. Why is that nice? Because the square root of 121 is 11. Very good. So we're going to work up here. X equals 9 plus or minus 11, all divided by 4. Once again, how many answers are really there? In this case, there are 2. Because you have to take 9 plus 11 divided by 4 and 9 minus 11 and divide by 4. 9 plus 11 is 20 divided by 4 is 5. So x equals 5. Here is 9 minus 11 is -2 over 4 is -1/2. Any questions on how that one worked out? No? It was good. I see some of you kind of looking at it differently. That's why I'm asking if there's any questions. Oh. All right, we'll just take a look at example 3, and I think we'll be done for today. I do actually have an example 4, but I don't know that we're going to need it. Is everybody done with this page? Okay. Well, what's wrong with this one? Yeah, -x squared, not where it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be a 0 there. So let's just add x squared over to the other side. Can I add x squared and -3x and put those together in any way? Or do they have to stay separate? Yeah, they got to stay separate. What should come first, the x squared, the -3x, or the -20? X squared. Followed by -3x, followed by -20, and it now equals 0, because those cancel. The reason I like to do this one is some people struggle on telling me that one right there. It is 1. There is an understood 1 right out front. Some people tell me it's a 2 because the power is 2. Well, that's not right. B and C. B is -3. C is -20. So you notice on the last problem, when there are negatives down in the B and C, you have to be very careful, because that's when you can make mistakes. All right, everybody ready? So it says the opposite of B. So 3 plus or minus the square root of. Now I know that some of you are just going to write 9 here. And that's fine as long as you know where it came from. But I like to write it out and see it. So it's -3 squared minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is -20. So that's one of the bigger numbers that we've put in that spot. But that's okay. And then 2 times A, which is 1. Like I told you earlier, you're going to start liking 1s. And like I told people in the other class, if you're in Algebra 2, it's kind of like having zeros in your matrices. They're kind of nice. All right, here we go. x then equals 3 plus or minus. Negative 3 squared is 9, positive or negative? Positive. 9. Again, here's how I do it. I write the minus, and then I figure out what that is. You take 4 times 1 is 4, times negative 20 is a negative 80. All divided by 2. So you're subtracting a negative, which many of you learned to add the opposite. So 3 plus or minus the square root of 89. Is that a perfect square? Is that one of them we know the square root of perfectly? No. So you're supposed to round where then? The nearest tenth. Very good. So x equals 3 plus whatever that is. 9.4. I was going to say 8.4 doesn't make sense. 9.4 divided by 2. And x also equals 3 minus 9.4 divided by 2. Will either one of these end up negative, do you think? Yeah, the one on the right, I saw somebody kind of point that way. Yep, the one on the right will. The one on the left will not. Well, what do we got here? We got what? Well, that's not too hard. That's 12.4 divided by 2. That's something we should be able to do in our head. Is 6.2. Yep. And over here, another one we should probably, what is that? Negative 6.4 divided by 2. Negative 3.2. Again, for those of you that remember parabolas from Algebra 2, this would be a smiley face parabola, and it would hit the x-axis at 6.2 and negative 3.2, approximately. I know it's a smiley face because it's a positive x squared. If it was a negative x squared, it'd be a frown. Any questions? I don't believe we need to do this one, do we? I think we've got it pretty well figured out, right? You would probably just do it on the back if we had to, but I think we're good. By the looks of what I've seen from you today, we're